Right, I'm pretty excited today because we're at Toronto Motorsports Park with XF Motorsports. Now this is a completely hand-built from scratch car. It doesn't get any better than homegrown grassroots motorsports. So definitely check out XF Motorsports on YouTube because he's got the entire build on there. But in the meantime, we're gonna go beat the crap out of it for a while because that's what you do with race cars. Is everything gonna hold together?
Let's see. It's a real interactive experience.
All right, so we're here with Sherry from XF Motorsports. Yep. Yeah, and what do you have?
So it's somewhat of a Mercedes E55. The engine's from an E55. Transmission's from a Nissan 350Z. It's a CD09. Yeah, a bit of a mix of parts. The whole car weighs 950 kilograms, making about 550 currently on this tune. When we run into full boost, it makes 700. But when everything is running good, then we'll turn up the boost.
So, starting from scratch, you basically just took a driveline from a E55 Mercedes?
Yes, yeah.
But you built the rest of the car around it?
Yeah, pretty much. So basically the story is I had an E55 that I used to take to the racetrack for time attack. It was a little bit modified, it had turbos at the back, push rod suspension, and some aero, like a big wing and stuff on it. I blew the engine on it one day. When I was rebuilding the engine, everything was apart. I was like, oh, this is a good chance to like put everything back together in a lighter, more track-focused car. So that's really where this project came along. So.
And watching your earlier videos, you did it in your normal house garage?
Yes, that's true, yeah. Pretty much all of it was done in the garage. Later on, I got the shop, and the later CNC parts and stuff were done when I got the CNC.
It's just your parents' house or what? Or your house?
Yeah. My parents' house. My parents weren't there for that year. That's why I got lucky. I was able to do all that. Once they came back, they were not the happiest, but...
Have they driven in it yet?
No. They don't even like racing.
So you take up Mama's garage space and she has to clean out her car's snow. Yeah. And then you build a race car that they don't approve of and have never ridden in. That's awesome. That's motorsports.
And then I ran away from the house.
What was that? Then they kicked you out of the house?
Yeah, they didn't kick me out, but it was a better time to get a shop in. Like.
Where do you hide the fuel tank?
Between the legs.
Oh yeah. This is a crappy way. We had a pump before, but the pump broke down, so this is how we're filling it for today.
Always something breaking.
Yeah, that's the race car leg.
Yeah.
The more broken it is, the faster it goes.
Not meant for 6 foot. Twin turbo?
Yes.
And what turbos are on it?
So these were the turbos. I took them off my previous E55. I am not even sure what they were. And the size is somewhat similar to a GT35 gear turbo. The manifolds were custom. The wastegates I bought off some other company. The pistons were machined a little bit to reduce the compression ratio. On my E55, I was running like 15 to 17 PSI. It was running it to knock. I was only running 13 degrees of timing after that. So that's why when I was rebuilding the engine for this car, that's one of the things I did. I took the compression ratio down. Worked really well.
Do you know where it is? 9.5 to 1?
It's 8.5 to 1.
8.5 to 1.
Yeah,
nice.
It's really low.
Yeah.
And the timing, I believe we are running 20 degrees of timing at 10 or 11 psi. When we go up to 15, I think it's around 17 or 18. It's still like a decent bit of timing.
Okay.
We're running on it.
Is it just the Mercedes computer that's running everything? Do you have to unlock anything? Or?
No. So initially, yeah, I was thinking about running the Mercedes computer, but then standalone was a really good investment. I went with an AEM Infinity 508. It sits somewhere over here, so you don't see it. It's underneath this panel.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, it's connect the standalone ECU, tune everything, and get it running that way.
Nice. pretty sketch. It's pretty awesome. I love the tires throwing stones at you. It's a real interactive experience. I love it. Still the Mercedes radiator?
Yes, yeah. So the radiator is straight from the E55. Cooling is working well. It has more ventilation the way it's mounted. On the E55, it's really cramped because you can get a lot of air in, but there's not enough air that gets out of the engine bay. The engine bay is like, the engine is actually right behind the radiator. That's why it had a lot of cooling issues. With this one, I haven't had any issues. Just
2 intercoolers, one on each side, one for each bank.
Yeah. It is blowing off. Yeah, I noticed that earlier today.
It's a little bit low on boost too.
No, it's holding up so far.
What gets me the most is the suspension, because I watched how you set the camera up and put the tire, right? And then you move the tire to the full suspension and then figured out the dynamics or whatever.
Oh yes, the front suspension. For that, to figure out the kingpin angle, I did that with the camera. Like, just take the wheel off and put it back on, and then you match the 2 images and you can see the suspension. The wheel becomes a little bit transparent, so you can draw the line through it and match your angle. So yeah, it was a little bit tricky because I was using some parts from the Mercedes suspension, like the spindles at the front or also at the rear actually are taken from the Mercedes.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have the complete freedom to choose the geometry I wanted to go with, so I had to play around a little bit with what was on there, but how much I could modify to like make it work for a racing suspension. Steering rack, that's the part that people make fun of me the most about. It's taken from a Miata. Because I needed something really small to fit between the suspension, because the chassis is pretty narrow on it, so any other rack taken from a Mercedes or something would have been too big. The geometry wouldn't have worked out, so I had to take it from a Miata.
He's like, his shoulders start slumping. He's like, I had to take it from Miata. So it started out with the engine, and then you build the tube around it, and then the suspension to fit. Like, what was the order?
So the order, I think the first thing I did was I weighed all the parts. I weighed the engine, weighed the transmission, the differential, because I was looking for a 50-50 weight distribution, right? Because in racing it's really important. If you go too front heavy or too back heavy, everything is wrong then. It's really difficult to figure the car out after.
Are you making fun of my Audi?
No. Well, that's a production car, right? You don't have the choice to like put things where you want them to. But if it's a custom car, then it's best to like build it accordingly, right?
Yeah.
Everything is placed like where it should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why you see the engine is like placed really far back, like really far behind the front tires. It was basically to get a 50-50 weight distribution.
Okay.
Push the weights as much to the center of the car, so like it has a better like it can rotate, change directions faster, and a 50-50 weight distribution. Those were the two biggest things I was.
And how close did you get?
I think right now it's perfect 50-50. Initially it was 51-49 when I made it. After that we added a little bit of stuff at the back, like batteries and other stuff to get it perfect.
Compressor.
Yeah.
So he cheated. He just adds more weight unnecessarily to get his 50-50. But that's the sacrifice of weight for perfect balance, right?
Yeah.
So you get it back out in the corner?
Yeah. To be honest, 1% you can also like adjust just with suspension and stuff, like just by changing spring rates around, but it's better to have it perfect first and then work on the suspension and fine tune things from there.
Right. So what do you think our Audi weighs?
Have you weighed it yet? Have you put it on front?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
LS at the front. And 4-wheel drive. I think 60-40?
No, 56-44. No, 54-46.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, for an engine that hangs out in front of the entire front axle.
Front heavy Mercedes, like the S classes and stuff, they're the same. I think they're 55 or 56%.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not too bad.
No. Man after my own heart. We got self-tappers in there.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. Make it work. Drive it. Have some fun with it. It's so cool.
step right on the seat. It's gonna make it easier. I can move the pedal box a little
Oh
bit
man!
further.
Yeah, I don't think I could drive this on the track.
So
all we've got is brake. We do have one clutch.
So you do have the clutch. You will need the clutch just to like
Get going?
get it going. After
Okay.
that, you don't need the clutch.
Okay.
This is all like a new program, so it's running a little bit sketchy right now. It might do something funny in between the gear shifts, but mostly it's okay.
So you designed this?
The previous system that was on it, that one I made, it was like it still had the gear shifter over here, and then there were pneumatics that would do the shifting.
Yeah.
Then after that, they were like these 5 university students that did this for their capstone project.
Oh, nice.
They took that part off. They machined all this new mechanism and this pneumatic and the side-to-side thing and put that on the.
So you worked with a university?
So not the university itself, but the university students. They were doing their capstone project.
Okay.
It's Western University of Western Ontario.
Nice.
Yeah, still needs like, of course, finishing touches so that it's all like nice and smooth. But
Yeah.
it's a little funny right now.
Okay. So there's a
Yeah.
program that
There's a program
runs it?
that runs all this. Yeah.
Okay. And who wrote that?
I wrote this one that's currently on it. They previously wrote one that wasn't too good, that's why I had to change that. But even this one needs a little bit of improvement.
Nice.
So, yeah, when we drive it more, we'll keep on improving. So right now it should be neutral. I'll just like power on and off so everything resets.
Yep.
No.
My legs are a little bigger than yours. Okay, so touch in. Yeah, I got it. So, up was red? Okay. Okay.
So now you can put your left foot on the brake, put your reverse. And then,
And then downshift, just down again. Oh, so it moves the touch too. Oh, okay. That's awesome. And the steering is so responsive. The brakes are pretty, like, wow, you really got a hammer on it, yeah. You designed and built this whole wing too?
yes. So this one was the older one. We're making a new one. The new one is a 3-element. It's a pretty complex design, but basically it's like a 3-element wing and all 3 elements fold into 1 element. So
Nice.
when you look at it, it's like a 1-element wing, but when it deploys, all 3 elements come out.
When deploys, so it's an active wing?
Yes, it's an active.
Very
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and we're putting 2 of those on, so one at the front and one at the rear, because the downforce is going to be a lot higher. If you only put it on the rear, it's going to be the rear downforce is going to be too high. So it took a year initially to like make the car and get it running. After that, I've been taking my time, so like on and off whenever I have time, just do a bit of
I'm
stuff on
trying
it.
to perfect one
Yeah.
piece at a time, right?
Yes, yes.
Working on one thing at a time.
Well, first, before I was thinking of finishing the bodywork, just finishing up everything that was in the design. But after that, slowly, like the direction it went, it's kind of become like a test mule. The next project we're working on, it's like a single-seater car, single-seater replica F1 car.
Okay.
The engine goes behind the driver, so that one's like a more higher budget project. So
I was gonna ask, like, would you take everything you've learned from this, start with a fresh design, take what you learn,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fabricating skills increase,
Yes.
and imagination increases, and yeah, that's awesome. That's It's such a hard pedal. It's such an
Yeah,
awkward spot. Okay, so neutral?
Yes.
Okay, first. It like goes over center, and then there it is.
Yeah, just a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah.
On the track it's fine, you don't need to worry about
Right, right. It doesn't help it. I thought I was the skinny guy.
Oh, yeah.
They were the guys.
This will make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, the guys in the Audi were complaining that my driver's seat was too skinny on the dyno.
Skinny. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
and this one, holy crap!
Oh, no,
like
that wouldn't fit
my
this
hips
one.
are hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem is if my seat gets too big, then I move all the way, like all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, this is kind of like my size. For anyone bigger, it's too tight.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very, very much. You have all my respect for this. I can't
no,
even
thanks for
imagine
coming
doing
out.
it. Yeah, so we appreciate it. You can check out the whole build on YouTube. If you guys have any vehicles that you've built, whether it's just an engine swap or a complete ground up one-off build, if you go to our website, you can submit it along with your address, and then if we're traveling and we're in the area or whatnot, we can look up and see who's close by, and you might get an email or phone call from us saying, hey, we want to put your ride on the channel. We really love seeing what you guys build and what you guys can think of, and what the finished project is. So that's what it's all about, working on your stuff and the pride in it when it's done. You got fastest lap today in a competition, right?
Oh, so it wasn't competitive this time. Everyone was just doing their own lap times, and most of them were getting 1:15s, the Porsche 911s. This one did a 1:13, so yeah, I think it was quickest today.
Very, very
Tomorrow
humble.
is tomorrow is the timed event. That's the official one.
Nice. So you break it today and get in trouble for tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for this video. There'll be lots more coming up throughout the year. But remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. So get out there and work on it.